Is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America.
Speaking for the first time as president, Joe Biden called for unity among the American people, saying the only way forward is to come together. But what exactly does that mean for the 74 million people who didn't support Biden at the polls? Here's what the Wall Street Journal wrote earlier today. Quote, "We heard too little in Mr. Biden's speech to reassure conservatives now being purged and ostracized that he will call off the emboldened progressive censors. If his pursuit of social justice becomes a drive to blame every inequity in American life on racism, he will divide more than unite." Here with reaction is Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union. Matt, always good to see you.
Great to be with you, Buck, and I haven't been agreeing with the Wall Street Journal very much lately, but I like that.
I think that there'll be a whole lot more comity and agreement among conservatives in general going forward now that we face the purge and the suppression that will be targeted at all of us. It will not be done with a scalpel. But to that end, I just wanted to know, what did you think about Biden's speech as it pertains to the unity that we're kind of told they want, but then we don't really get that sense from what other people are saying around Biden?
Yeah, this is the problem. It's a fair statement on President Trump to say that he was divisive. He came to Washington, D.C., take a 2x4 to the establishment and to the way of doing things. And anybody who's going to do that is going to be the subject of scorn. He was the ultimate outsider, disruptor. Joe Biden ran as a creature of the establishment, and he kept saying he wants us to go back to like political norms and a way of the old way of doing things, and this idea of a politician calling for unity as a part of that. The problem is it's not very unifying to not tell his party to stop impeachment and conviction of Donald Trump now that he's out of office. This is just like constitutional insanity. And you're right. 74 million Americans supported Donald Trump. I think most of those would support him even stronger today because of this persecution and the cancel culture. The more they persecute Donald Trump, the more they persecute conservative voices, the more, you're right, we get pulled together. This is like a bonding agent for the conservative coalition when they attack people we admire and respect. And by the way, I have children. It doesn't end at Donald Trump. It goes down to the young man or woman who would wear a MAGA hat or wear a pro-life T-shirt or say the Second Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights. Those kids get canceled and attacked too. It's not just the former president they're going after. They're really going after anybody who thinks America can be improved but doesn't need to be scrapped, and we don't have some kind of history that we need to be ashamed of.
There was a whole lot of very flowery prose directed toward Joe Biden's inauguration yesterday from the media establishment, of course, speaking truth to power. We'll get into some of that, but first, Fox News' Peter Doocy, who is going to be one of the few people that I would assume is going to ask actual questions meant to get answers that they may or may not want to give in the White House, brought this one up yesterday at Jen Psaki's first press conference. I want to have you react to it. Go.
He spoke today, as you all saw, about unity in his inaugural address and the importance of unity in bringing the country together and the resolve of the American people in helping to get through this moment. We are confident, though, that just like the American people can, the Senate can also multitask, and they can do their constitutional duty while continuing to conduct the business of the American people.
Calling for unity, but saying, maybe the Senate's got to take the guy and punish him after he's no longer even the president through a process meant to punish presidents.
Yeah, I find it incredible that she calls it multitasking when you're literally trying to destroy your political enemy. You tried to spy on him. You tried to use all the intelligence community to hamstring him from the beginning of his presidency. And now we're going to repeat the dark part of our history, try to convict him again in the Senate. The last time Democrats pursued all this, they flubbed on being ready for the coronavirus. They actually can't walk and chew gum at the same time. They actually can't multitask. Congress does very little anymore, Buck. They don't really pass any laws. This is going to completely paralyze the political system, and that will mean Congress doesn't do other things that it probably needs to do. Now, as a Republican with the Democrats in charge of Congress, maybe I should be happy about that because they won't be able to get other parts of their agenda done. But there's nothing about this that's ennobling. Barack Obama and Joe Biden broke the law and used their power to go after their enemies, and nobody went to jail for that. And now those very same people come into power again, and their very first thing is to use their power to come after us. And as I said earlier, it won't stop at Donald Trump. It's going to go down to everybody down the power line. And I think that's why the American people, this whole call for unity will seem like hypocrisy.
And we do have a comparison of how the media treated Jen Psaki during her first press briefing versus good old Sean Spicer. Let's take a look.
Is it your intention to always tell the truth from that podium?
How does President Biden plan to recover the United States image around the world?
Besides healthcare, can you give us 1, 2, or 3 legislative things that he wants to get through right away? So not the executive actions, legislative.
Could you just give us some color about what it was like for him going into the Oval Office?
You know, on the one hand, you've got, excuse me, can you explain why you guys are so awful and none of your plans will actually work? / maybe there's some fascism in the White House now. On the other, it's, what's it like to be so amazing? I don't know, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, the one press secretary gets asked when you're going to be hanging up the swastika in the Oval Office, and Jen Psaki gets asked if, they're cleaning up and tidying up after this, monstrous Trump administration. Are they going to be changing the hues in the West Wing and on Air Force One? Look, this is what not just Donald Trump, but all Republicans, if you go back to Eisenhower, all national Republicans who dared to run for president or be the vice president have been vilified by the national news media. And most Republicans leave this office fairly wounded politically because of this unfair treatment. Democrats, it's just the opposite. The only one I can think of that's different is Jimmy Carter because he was completely incompetent, and Bill Clinton because he was completely disreputable with an intern and with his honesty about it. So take those things out of it. If you're a Republican, the nonstop negative coverage actually does have an impact, and the nonstop positive coverage for Democrats really helps them. The big difference now, Buck, is the American people are onto this crap. They know what's going to happen. They know that the Washington Post, the New York Times, and CNN will be giving Joe Biden, daily fluffy coverage. And here's the real truth. Half this country is getting their news from people like Buck Sexton, and they're not getting it from those news outlets anymore. I mean, I took Twitter off my phone. I took Facebook off my phone. I canceled my subscription to the Washington Post, and I live in the area of the swamp. I'm getting my news from other places, so I actually don't think it's going to have the positive effect it's had on other people like Barack Obama.
Matt Schlapp of the American Conservative Union. Good to see you, Matt. Hey, Team Buck, just want to say thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more great content from The First, please click that subscribe button.